Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Championship Check-In podcast with me, Benjamin Bloom, and Sam Parkin, looking at the greatest league in world football on one of these god-awful, knackering three-game weeks again. Sam, how are you coping? We're nearly international break at the weekend, yeah?
It feels like the greatest league in the world, and do you know why? Because I couldn't care less for VAR. Honestly, just let's talk about the goals and the football. Do you know what I mean? I did thoroughly enjoy the audio. I mean, how could you not? It was tremendous, wasn't it? But isn't it great to have so many games in quick succession in the Championship and just be talking about goals, teams creating their own carnage, losing managers already. It's
first sacking we got coming up today.
It's the best, isn't it? It's the best. And yeah, I'm looking exhausted, partly children, but partly because people keep asking me about video assistant referees when I couldn't care less. Ben.
There we go. Well,
so we'll talk about goals, glorious goals. That's all I care for.
What Sam could care about is the Championship. So we'll get into it. We've got loads of people in the chat already. Make sure you say hello. We'll stick as many comments up as we go. If you're listening on the audio feed after the fact, do come and join us generally on Thursdays at 7 live on YouTube and have your say. So, Sam, we've got round 9 and round 10 to kind of cover. So I won't bang through all the results. What I will do, though, as we love to on a 3-game week, is have a look at who might be getting 9 points and who might be getting 0 points. And this is happening. We've got seven potential 9-pointers, mainly because, Sam, there were no draws in midweek. I don't know if you noticed, 12 games, no draws. So take a bow. Leicester, Sunderland, West Brom, Southampton, Coventry, Swansea, and Middlesbrough can all end this week. Well, each individual team, I know some of them are playing each other before anyone corrects me in the chat, can all end this week potentially with 9 points. The zeros, Sam, and there's one very high up in the table, is Preston potentially could be a 0. Blackburn, Watford, and the bottom 3, QPR, Rotherham, and Sheffield Wednesday. So we are mid 3-game week. That's what could transpire at the weekend. But what I think everybody wants to know is, which topic have you picked out this week, Sam, for Parkin's Pick? Lots to choose from. You tweeted earlier, didn't you, that it's been a hard call this week. What do you want to take on in Parkin's Pick?
I'm just so sensitive, mate. I don't want to get lambasted by anyone.
What a great word 3 minutes into a podcast.
But I know already that our viewers are, more balanced than some other streams. You know what I mean?
They're great.
I'm going to go for the Baggies, West Bromwich Albion.
I like that because we seem to have covered already a lot of the teams on streaks. We haven't covered West Brom really at all. And I hate the term flying under the radar, Sam, because I like to think nobody flies under our radar. We're across absolutely everything. But be honest, did you or did you not expect to be talking about 5th placed West Brom after 10 games, given parachute payments running out? It's Dara O'Shea being sold in the summer to raise money. Nothing really other than Sarmiento coming in, and maybe Carlos Corberan's one of those managers where the worse gig he's got, the better he does. But talk to me about West Brom.
Do you know what? I wouldn't have had them too far away from 5th.
Really?
In all honesty, yeah. But I think that's just.
I had them regressing, Sam. I did.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I think he's a really intelligent coach. I've been fortunate enough to interview him after a few games. I enjoyed Hugh Wizencroft saying that he looked pensive before their interview the other day, because that was the perfect terminology. He's quite intense when you speak to him. He gives you good tactical stuff. I think he's a brilliant tactician in essence. And I don't know if it's correct now, but John Swift and Jed Wallace at one point were probably the 2 best creators that the Championship had to give. When Jed was at Millwall and John Swift was at Reading, they were able to get both of them. It's been difficult to find that relationship, I suppose, and that balance. But it worked against Preston when Jed Wallace played up top. And I think quite a few of the websites have done this today, but looking at the touch maps and the heat maps and what have you, it
Football
looked
have
like,
got him up front there, Sam, on the screen. Yeah.
it looked like Jed was back kind of on the right-hand side and Thomas Asante resumed his position up front. But yeah, irrelevant of that, I thought incredibly brave for Carlos Corberán to do that at Preston. And I just thought there was something beautiful about Ryan Lowe and people that cover Preston just saying, my goodness, they wiped the floor with us today. And it was one that I think he said, you just got to stick under the carpet and move on as quickly as possible, Ryan Lowe. The shot count, the possession, they completely dominated that game. And again, I think against Sheffield Wednesday for 40 minutes, very, very good. Again, in the second half, they maybe lost their way a little bit. Wednesday came into the game at the end of both halves. That naturally maybe happens when you're defending a 1-goal lead. But I think throughout the departments right now, you look at them defensively. When Corberán came in, 9 wins in 11, 7 clean
they went
sheets.
for it, didn't they? Yeah.
And I just remember them totting up those clean sheets and just thinking, this is remarkable. Well, 4 in 5 right now, with a defence that I probably felt was going to be their Achilles heel. Alex Palmer looked miles off it early part of the season. He's back looking like the goalkeeper he was going to become. The balance of the midfield looks better with Moet in there. He had 111 touches against Sheffield Wednesday, which I thought was...
111, Christ. Anyone over 100 is always a high watermark, isn't it?
It was glorious. I think Swift was up there as well. I think Swift was in the 90s, which seems incredible for a forward player. I know that he's dropping in between the lines and he's going to be that link between midfield and attack, really. Thomas Asante and Jed Wallace being the attack. But I thought that was remarkable, the control they had in that game, despite obviously Sheffield Wednesday being in dire straits. Right now, my concern, I've gone early on a concern.
Depth?
This isn't the striker situation, I suppose. Are they going to be? I think he said that Madger and did he say Madger? Maybe Thomas Asante and Jed Wallace were his forwards right now, with Madger missing. Sarmiento, I'm not sure if he's a central striker. That's probably what could cost them, maybe. But if it's going to be built on a strong defence, as it looks now, why not? I wouldn't back against Carlos Corberán because that Huddersfield team, I think, was exactly that. Not a team blessed with attacking prowess. Knew how to get over the line.
Yeah. So would you agree with me then? So for West Brom to get into the playoffs where they are right now, to stay in the playoffs, obviously we have to countenance that with there are teams below them that we would expect to trend up as the season goes on. The Huddersfield model was very good defensively. Sorba Thomas was an absolute demon on the set plays that season. And they had a huge, long undefeated run, didn't they, Huddersfield? And tended to be really hard to play against, especially if they got a goal in front. Is that presumably what he's trying to build now the parachute payments are gone and he can't just go out and sign players at West Brom?
Yeah, and that's a really valid point that you make, because I think Coventry are leading the way with set pieces with 6. West Brom have scored from 5 already. So when you factor that in, and John Swift, his quality delivery, I'm sure they've probably got someone else who I can't think of right now, but they're going to get goals because they attack the ball really well from dead balls. So that's always going to...
Ajayi, big centre halves.
And I think because the games have come so thick and fast recently, he's had the opportunity to give people a little bit of a breather as well. So I think Kipre came out of the side for a while, Ajayi as well. There's obviously a bit of rotation going on in the forward positions. Maybe not as much as he would like, because I think Thomas Asante looked like he was running on empty last night, but he doesn't have the options in attack.
DK will mentioning DK.
DK will come back in.
Chat,
Sorry, I'm sorry. I need to open those up there. Someone could have prompted me.
Well, I wouldn't blame you for forgetting about DK, because it's, I think, £7 million when he came with Big Val and just been injured the entire season and a half, hasn't he?
I'm still just living off when he put the dishwasher tablet in his washing machine, wasn't it? Or was it the other way around?
No, it was the dishwasher tablet. Yeah. That's That's poor, I have to say.
That's the kind of thing I would have done when I was a single man living away from home for the first time. Yeah, kind of thing I'd have done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he'll try and mirror probably what he did at Huddersfield. Absolutely, and yeah, I've got loads of love for Carlos Corberán. I think that was a remarkable achievement, and he's got better players. Definitely, he's got better forward players than he had at Huddersfield. So why not?
Why not, indeed? So West Brom are our Parkins pick this round. They could do a 9-point round, but they're on the TV against Birmingham on Friday night, of course. On the back nine of this show, look at me doing a golf reference, Sam. We will be looking at the predictions there. Let me give you a little bit of early warning on this one, guys. Get your Worldy of the week in right now so we can put a few of them up on the screen. You've got 2 rounds to pick from. What was your favourite goal? As usual, you are not contractually obligated to pick one from the team you support. Let's go to Worldy of the week. By the way, before Sam gets into this, 24 likes, Sam. I think we can get that up to 50 during the show, can't we? Hit the thumbs up button if you are in the stream right now, as Sam annoys at least 75% of the chat by selecting his Worldy of the week.
You want it now, my friend?
I do. I want it right now.
I didn't think there was loads of amazing goals this week, which was a bit of a rarity after the last month, but I'm going for a marauding fullback, Niall Huggins of Sunderland, for his goal against Watford.
I absolutely love this goal because my top thing for when we do these Worldies of the week is how unique the goal is, how often we see this type of goal. And you'll tell me far better as an ex-pro, but there's just something about, especially when it's a winger who's used to dribbling, fine. When it's a player who's not used to dribbling, and you can see they go past the first guy and things start opening up. And you just see the biorhythms start ticking and the excitement going. And it's like, if you planned that out, they couldn't do it, could they? But once they get into the moment, adrenaline, whatever it is, am I kind of right with that assessment of a fullback marauding through and banging one barring in?
I think so, because when he receives the ball, he's not anticipating he's going to get a shot away, I would envisage. Listen, he has helped. I'm going full Alan Hansen here by some horrendous defending. I'm not even going to attempt. I had it written down. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the Watford wide player who got a rare start last night, but he just absolutely ambled past him. And then it's Wesley Hoyt, who's been a favourite, I think, on this show for some calamity so far this season. Just that's awful defending. But I love the finish. The fast ricochet off the underside of the bar. I love. And it's, what is it, a prod are we going for? It's a prod, isn't it, really?
I'm sold on a prod. I thought you were going to say a toe poke.
No, it's a prod. It's intuitive, isn't it? It's all that you can really do. You take another step in football, someone whips that off your toe. So to get the shot away quickly was the right decision. In off the bar. I think he's played, 5 games? And his first game, I think, his start, again, I've got loads of notes all over the gaff today, but was at QPR, and obviously Rangers were down to 10 first half, and he got whipped at half-time to bring on Patrick Roberts. Probably no fault of his own. He'd actually got an assist in that game. So his first start of the season didn't go according to plan. They got the 3 points, but he's become a mainstay over the last few weeks. And this Sunderland tale just motors on, doesn't it? No recognised strikers still. I think it's 10 games, isn't it, without a goal from their centre forward, in essence. And they're still getting away with it. They're getting some...
They're doing better than getting away with it. They're breathing down Preston's neck for top 3 now, aren't they? Yeah,
this would have been a surprise to me. And I think I said it as much at the end of last season. I just thought, Ross Stewart leaving and the way they ended last season, playing some incredible stuff. I didn't know if it was going to be sustainable this year. But, they proved me wrong. And I think Mason Burstow, we mentioned him before on the show, didn't we, as the player to watch. I think the performances have been really good, apart from he's not looking like he's going to get goals, which is a bit of a problem.
Amen.
Hence why it's so important Jack Clark and the like are stepping up. But if he starts scoring, or one of the centre forwards, Amir or whatever, then they could be here for the long haul.
Can I throw a few at you that have come in?
Yeah, I've got a little short list here as well. Yeah.
See if they come up at all. So Stuart Armstrong, free kick for Southampton, top corner at Stoke.
Well, let me come in here. Is there a more two-footed midfield player in the Championship than Stuart Armstrong? Because I thought he was left-footed.
He bent that one with his right foot, didn't he?
Honestly. Or has he got two okay feet? Do you know what I mean? Is he one of those? Which is better than, yeah.
The chat will obviously tell us. Connor Chaplin. Do you know what's annoying me slightly with these? There's been a couple of Ipswich goals where if an opposition player hadn't just touched the ball slightly, I'd be like going amazing.
Yeah.
But
Seri's got involved, didn't he? Seri's had a little flick at that, hasn't he? Off Luongo. You can't have him in the passing sequence. That ruined
exactly.
I'm glad you're a Puritan, mate. That's it.
I am, absolutely. I'm glad we agree on that. There was another one in there I wanted to talk about. Oh, Tommy Conway is going to come up in a segment later in the show. I would say I love it when a player scores a double and they're both really good goals, but they're both completely different as well. So Conway's definitely coming up. Is that everything off your list, Sam?
Well, again, Ipswich are just plundering some ridiculous goals. So Wes Burns would have made my short list. And I thought Jordan James at Birmingham were...
Oh, the 4-1. Yeah.
Fourth, yeah. I think Dembele got a couple of good ones. Keeper chucked one in, didn't he, the first one? I'm sure I'd read something or saw a video about Lee Nichols being asked if he was the best goalkeeper in the Championship, and then he proceeded to... That was Lee Nichols, wasn't it? Chuck one in.
Through his hands in the first half.
Yeah, so he is a good keeper. But yeah, Jordan James, I thought Birmingham definitely worth a little mention. And I just caught up on the Swansea goals, who were very unfortunate not to be Parkin's pick. Let me get that in, because they were our cause for concern a few weeks ago, and they've won 3 games on the spin. So hopefully we'll get an opportunity to talk about them in more depth. But Bashir Humphreys, first career goal, maybe, certainly first goal in English football.
Senior football, yeah.
Brilliant touch, great strike, bit of a scramble, but he stuck that one away beautifully.
I've written about him in my tribal football column today, Sam, mentioning the Mark Gray path quite a lot there with Chelsea to Swansea and centre-backs and the England team, let's just say. Right, brilliant stuff. That is our Worldy of the week. Well done, Niall Huggins, all the way from fullback. Time as ever to lower the tone, and I think this can only be one thing this week. It is time for our cause for concern. Honestly, I'm fed up of talking about it. What's concern, Sam?
Good old Sheffield Wednesday, eh? Keeping us entertained.
What are they doing? So I've done a video on this already today. So if you let me lead off, Sam, and then I'll give my take, and you can give your thoughts on my take, or
go for it.
You see fit. I'm a little bit split, because 2 things can be true. He was terrible. His results are terrible. 0% win rate off 10 games. Fine, but we'll never know what he would have done in circumstances that weren't just complete bonkers, chaotic, would we? So I tweeted out that I've got sympathy for Xisco, and I got a few rather unempathetic replies. Just all I was saying, Sam, on the basis, look, it's a shame it hasn't worked out. That's not to say that if he had good conditions, that, I don't know, Sheffield Wednesday would be 6 places higher. I do think if they'd kept Darren Moore and the bulk of last team, they probably would be 6 places higher. But just a complete mess. And I'll tell you what we'll do, Sam, to forward it on, let me ask you and the chat. Mr. Chansiri has come out last Friday to say he doesn't want to put money in, blah, blah, blah. Sacked the manager, paid him compensation. If I'm a manager now, and, you kind of owe it to your curiosity to go to the interview, am I not hijacking the interview before he's even asked the question to say, well, are you putting money in or not? Because I'm going to leave the interview if you're what you said in the... So does that not make an issue in terms of attracting someone new? What is your take, Sam?
Yeah, it's probably one of the first questions you're going to ask, isn't it? Because you don't want to walk into a position that's essentially a poison chalice from the off. So maybe it's ready for someone battle hardened, to come in and say, I'm talking about Neil Warnock here a little bit, but or insert another, but someone who's kind of experienced everything in football, and they can work when there is a little bit of madness, mayhem going on outside of the dressing room. Does that make any sense at all? So
it does. Well, I don't know where else they go other than that, unless they get someone who's it's the biggest job they've ever had in their career, and they'll be happy to. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. They'll be happy to be there, so they'll be okay working with Chansiri.
It's not a job for someone who can be leaned on heavily and manipulated, is it? Because that would just be. It would be sad to see, and it would be a recipe for disaster, I think. I agree with you about Darren Moore, and I'm reluctant to speak about Darren Moore because these first couple of results at Huddersfield were pretty good, and I want to wait and see how that transpires. Despite me not being overly enamoured with some of Sheffield Wednesday's performances the back end of last season, which I spoke about when he was appointed as Huddersfield boss, but 100% I'm in unison with you now that if he'd continued, had the continuity of picking a similar lineup, similar style, they'd have accrued more points.
A few little tweaks, Sam, work on that through the summer, add 2 or 3 players and go for a team. Sam, 181 points they scored in League One over 2 seasons under Darren Moore. Surely that would have been worth at least, to be in the third quartile and out of the bottom 6 for at least the first 6 months up to the transfer window, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and wouldn't the calming influence of Darren Moore, the continuity, been such a sensible thing? Now we look at what a mess it's been in the last few weeks. So I don't know what happens. I think that the story is maybe not as big when they face off against Huddersfield in the next few days because this sacking.
Agreed.
And Agreed. I think that's probably come into the thought process of the owner. Would you agree with that?
Yes, yeah.
It's less of a circus now that the guy that directly replacement is out of the way as well. So it's a kind of fans turn up. Yes, the owner's going to get a little bit of grief. That's going to be inevitable, but it might be let's get behind the players in an interim. I don't know if anyone's been appointed in the short term. Do we know that?
Neil Thompson, is it? Someone in the
who's done it before, hasn't he? I think.
Me.
Yeah, and should we just talk quickly about the defeat the other night at West
go
Brom?
ahead, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it was 4-4-2, wasn't it? So there's been a number of different systems, and I had a little look because I saw Fletcher and Smith in tandem, obviously up front. I'm thinking, well, they're going to load the box here. They did have 10 deliveries, I've been able to work out, but it looks like only 3, I think, were in open play from wide position. So there was a couple of cutbacks and there was a few corners. 3 times they put the ball in the box for those 2 centre forwards who are going to prey on deliveries from wide. And I know there's a high profile falling out with Johnson, is there not? And Reece James has been away from the squad as well. So I'm thinking.
Yeah, they played for Maywo, who's a centre back at left back, whilst Reece James is in the squad.
I'm thinking out loud here, and I'm thinking that there is not, with Banner missing as well, there is not brilliant deliverers, brilliant wide players who can put balls in for those 2 centre forwards. So I think that was a bit of a mess the other day. I'm not sure what they were trying to do. In contrast, West Brom put 40 balls in. I think 37 from a wide position. Not a dead ball. So yeah, they failed to score in 6 matches. And when you've got Gregory, Smith, Fletcher, you've got to put the ball in. So I think that's been a big problem. They don't offer anything going forward. They've been able to get the goalless draw against Leeds, wasn't it? And lose narrowly against Ipswich. So they've been in some games, but they have 0 threat. I think it's just Rotherham who have got a lower XG4. And they've outperformed their XG, I think, in an attacking sense. Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, underperforming going forward, certainly. So we'll wait and see. I did see someone saying I did see someone that I hadn't heard of that had been manager at 18 different clubs on the continent, being linked with a job, and that would be the other route that I could envisage happening. What do you think?
It's Mr. Chansiri. I've got absolutely no clue what he's going to do. Sam. I don't know why we're here, but we are. All I hope is whoever gets it nice and early next week, so they've got a good run at it. Maybe 10 days at the first game. I hope the Wednesday fans can get out of their doldrums, which I don't blame them for being in, quite frankly, after wasting all of that momentum and good feeling from possibly one of the most dramatic playoff wins anybody has ever seen. So I'm seeing lots of Big Sam. Mick was on Big Sam's pod the other day as well, wasn't he? I don't know what he'll do. You just do wonder whether someone like Warnock or Mick will not enjoy the interview and, will be too savvy for Mr. Chansiri. But there you go. And I am genuinely fed up of talking about it, Sam, and especially after, the way that they got promoted last season. I've said it a million times. I just find it ridiculous that we are here. Keep your comments coming. Brilliant stuff. Don't forget to hit like. We are over 50 likes. So if everyone were to hit like right now, I wonder if we could get towards 75, 100. We're going to look ahead at the third game of this 3-game week. And we are going to pick out our mouth-watering matchup. So put your suggestions in there in the chat. Let us know which game you are most looking forward to this weekend. Sam, we have Birmingham West Brom on the telly box on Friday night. I really like the look of Sunderland versus Borough early on Saturday. That is a potential 9-point week for both sides there. Cardiff versus Watford. Coventry versus Norwich. Remember, Coventry are one of our 2 wins for the week teams. Ipswich versus Preston, I will be at. And if you're looking for somewhere to go, something to do, it is Blue Monday Live after the game as well, with our special guest, Sam. Luke Chambers will be at the event for an interview, the former Ipswich captain and record EFL appearance maker, certainly in the Championship. Well, I think Uncle Albert Adoma might have gone past him. Someone check my stats for me in the chat. Leeds versus Bristol City. It's Leicester versus Stoke. Millwall versus Hull. Plymouth versus Swansea. QPR versus Blackburn. The game Sam has already mentioned. Sheffield Wednesday versus Huddersfield. It is Southampton versus Rotherham. Let's pop up a few suggestions, Sam, before you give your pick. Lots for Sunderland Borough, Blues, Baggy. So I'm absolutely flying through this. Second versus third. Oh, God, that's Ipswich, isn't it? There you go. So I think the popular choice there is Sunderland versus Middlesbrough. So I'm going to play the jingle, Sam, and you can give us your mouthwatering matchup. So with the big caveat that we already talked about Niall Huggins, what have you picked for your mouthwatering matchup, Sam?
We're going pure filth, aren't we? We're going... I had it a minute ago. Where has it gone? We are going... I've got it. It's gone away. Is it 23rd against 20th? QPR against Blackburn. Sorry if I've done QPR a disservice there. There might be 22nd, but you catch my drift. This is... It's approaching must-win territory, isn't it? I think I said it for the Cardiff-Swansea derby a few weeks ago. And, I think there's pressure mounting on both coaches. Not the first time for Gareth Ainsworth. I thought that was just a bit feeble at Ellen Road the other day. I think it's a bit defeatist going into that game and not really laying a glove on Leeds.
They just sat in for 0-0, didn't they?
Didn't even need to get out of third gear, did they? I don't think Leeds played well. They scored a really good goal. Obviously, they've appealed the sending off of Begovic, and that will help. But
that'll get overturned. I think
you would have thought so.
We can talk about that in the Q&A at the end, but.
Yeah, I mean, someone's coming with an office quote there. Michael Panetti-Smith, top quality there, mate. It's going to be tense. I mean, the home form is just disgusting. My brother asked me if I wanted to sign up to Bristol City at home in November, and I'm tempted to take my eldest boy because he's not been to a game yet. He's only 3, but
no way.
Might be quite a nice one to get into the family section, but I can't commit. I can't commit at the moment. That's crazy talk. 23 games Gareth Ainsworth's had, 19 points. So we're talking just above 0.8 points.
45 to survive, Sam. That is relegation form, isn't it?
And were they my pick? I think they may have been when they beat Cardiff. I certainly waxed lyrical on this show about them. And now I'm just thinking that and Middlesbrough. I mean, this maybe doesn't make sense because they did back it up a few weeks later with the win at the Riverside. But I just felt it was the surprise element probably that took Cardiff that day. Cook coming in with Fox, Begovic in goal, that kind of trio of experienced players. The Smith role on that day was different. Dykes' role was different. Armstrong against Leeds and against Coventry feels like they're just getting Ilias Chair on the ball and hoping that he can hit one of those front men and they're going to win a second ball. I'm not sure what the game plan is at the moment. I'm really not. And the home form has been, I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but it's been so bad. I don't know. I don't know how this turns around. I'd love to say that there's enough quality in the forward positions, but I'm not sure if I believe there is without Willock and Chair being as mesmerising and brilliant as they've been in tandem at times in Rangers shirts. Lyndon Dykes is one performance in 3 or 4, and Sinclair Armstrong is exciting, full of effort, effervescent, but, you know, he's raw. He's got to polish so much. So I think they're really short in that department. And the signs of recovery that were evident to me a few weeks ago are quickly submerging into... Don't know where I'm going to go here, but yeah,
went all Shakespeare on me there.
Yeah. Blackburn, on the other hand, I thought they were better, weren't they? At Coventry,
open, Sam. I mean, if you look on the right hand side of the screen there, 3-1, 4-3, 5-2, 4-1 defeat. Okay, back to a 1-0. That probably says more about Mark Robins battening down the hatches. I think. Would you not agree? Blackburn are a better footballing team than QPR and make chances in a different way. But they're the sort of team QPR can score against, aren't they?
If I didn't have a horse in the race, I'd really enjoy watching Blackburn. I would enjoy watching. I'm not going to enjoy watching them on Saturday. Do you know what I mean? But I really enjoy watching Blackburn. I think he's an incredibly clever coach. I thought some of the performances the back end of last season were very good. The one at Millwall, I'm thinking that they obviously tailed off a little bit towards the tail end of last season. That performance at Millwall I thought was very good. And I've enjoyed watching them this season. I'm not sure about the forward options. We all know what they've lost in the last 12 months. I'm not sure of Ennis, Gallagher, Leonard, Schmodic.
Schmodic is excellent though, isn't he? He's having a really good season.
He is good for a goal, but you'd want something more reliable, I suppose, to be up there and get you the goals. I had a look at the average age, and I know this is very easy to do, so I'm not reinventing the wheel here. 23 is the average age at Coventry the other night. And I do think of Coventry as a young, vibrant side, probably because of the 85 Ash. I'll have everyone who's ever come through the Chelsea Academy at some point prized from somewhere else in the Championship. But Coventry were 27, their average age. They've got 4 over 30. Jamie Allen, I think 28 as well. Matt Godden, obviously, McFadgen, the goalkeeper, over 30. So 4 years difference there. This is an incredibly, incredibly young Blackburn side. And it looked to me that they did tighten up a little bit the other night. And interestingly, they kind of took out a holding midfield player. I think Travis was left out. And they played just the one in there and 2 number 8s.
Quick thank you to Dave there. £2 on the super chat there. Willock disinterested in.
That's sad, isn't it? That's sad.
That is sad, but
it is, because in September last year, September, best player in the Championship.
Yeah, I
said.
know.
So yeah, that's really sad.
Sorry, continue your thought.
Yeah, no, I think they look more solid. They're ranking Costello in midfield. I'm not sure that gave them loads in an attacking sense, and we know he's a pretty versatile customer, but they looked certainly more solid. And I think that's probably got to be the blueprint, because they can't go into every game in the Championship thinking they're just going to baffle us and outscore teams willy-nilly. There you go. There's another office quote.
Willy-nilly.
So I think they're good fun, Blackburn, to summarise. but you don't win anything with kids, Alan Hansen once said.
Don't win anything with just kids. No, absolutely. Absolutely not. Guys, we're going to go player to watch, and then it is predictions time. So get yourself all amped up for your 12 for the weekend. First of all, those player to watch time. Let's know who your player to watch for this coming round of games is via the chat. Sam, I must admit, I selected them, but who have we gone for this week?
Got to be TC, isn't he? He's got to be TC. Tommy Conway.
Tommy Conway. So you said about Bristol City a few weeks ago, light up top. They can't get Conway back quick enough. And while he's been away, the two wide players have been chipping in with loads of output, Bell and Sykes. And I believe, in fact, why don't I pop it up on the screen, how Nigel Pearson has brought him back in. And yes, so he went out injured on August 5th, and he came on for 1 minute at the end of that excellent win for Stoke at Ashton Gate. He comes on for 11 minutes at this game at Rotherham. It was on Sky, and we've already mentioned an absolutely brilliant double. One where he's got tidy feet, slams it in the top corner. I'm interested in your take as a striker. Second one might be even better. Across the near post, balls off the ground, both feet up, guides it in kind of on the volley with his outside foot. And I guess the thing is now, if you're Nigel Pearson and you planned, right, 1 minute, 11 minutes, then 20 minutes, surely the temptation is get him in the team now. But your thoughts on his brace and the temptation to not wait until after the international break?
I thought it was a brilliantly taken couple of goals. Sorry, I'm laughing at Michael, who's just coming in with office patter continually. That's why I was smirking there. Stuart Foot.
Played by Robin Ince. There you go.
Dave Fevs, TC. Here's Tommy, isn't it? It's Tommy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom Kearney's the original TC.
Terry Connor is the original TC.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, of course. That mix guy, yeah? Mick McCarthy's guy, yeah.
Yes, mate.
I love this lad because of he's just a pure goal scorer, isn't he? And I think there's a bit of arrogance, and not him as I don't know him as a lad, but as a character, but just in his outlook to getting goals. And I saw that the way he celebrated. I saw that in his post-match comments, which were really good, actually. Quite an open interview for someone so young. So I always embrace that, always enjoy it when they can speak about the art of goal scoring and give the interviewer some nice stuff. So I enjoyed that. And he spoke about wanting to score different types of goals, about the majority being one-touch finishes so far in his first team career. That's really nice as well. Someone who's wanting to improve and practice. The first one's exceptional and the second one's brilliant as well. He just looks like, I was thinking of equivalents, but, someone who just lives for goals. They're a bit of a dying breed. And, there'll probably come a time in his career when we talk about him maybe not contributing in other ways, but my goodness, he's exciting. And if I had a little look, 12 in 26 starts, all comps last season. Scored decent, 3, I think, in the League Cup as well. 5 in 6 kind of this time last year, or kind of late August, early September. So he's had that little period where he was just banging him in week after week. So I think he's got that in his armory to go and do that again, definitely. And they are looking better, aren't they? I think in an attacking sense. And they've had a recent stalemate, and they had a couple of clean sheets, I think, in relatively.
Everyone's putting some
weeks.
very good TCs in the chat here.
Go on.
Probably won by Tony Curry.
Oh yeah,
Terry Cooper. I'm thinking Tony Curry probably tops Terry Cooper.
Quality goal from a quality player.
Oh yes.
One for the kids there.
There you go.
Sheffield United, wasn't it? Yeah, TC.
And the main stand is named after
his nephew. One of your favourites must be.
Did you play with him, Sam?
Darren Curry. Yeah.
I see that bloke could take a corner.
That bloke could play.
Couldn't run, but he could play, couldn't he?
I had 18 months at Ipswich and about a year with him at Luton. I didn't see him have a bad touch, Darren Curry, in training or in a game. I digress. Tommy Conway, really exciting. Maybe a little bit of a concern. He's had two hammy injuries this year, one either side. I think.
Especially because he looks quite an explosive mover in the box, doesn't he?
I can't say any more. I love the cut of his jib, basically.
Um,
I love old school goal scorers.
I wrote down 3 from the chat. I think it was Ben said Morgan Whittaker is going to be playing for Plymouth against Swansea, who's that could be obviously very interesting given
We've already done that though when they played Southampton the other day. We dressed it up.
That is very true.
Russell Martin. So yeah,
okay, I'll give you that one. Shariki Dembele was on fire for Birmingham.
He was a shout for me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everyone loves him, don't they?
Yeah, and Josh Coburn, who's managed to get in the starting spot. We covered him on EFL, didn't we, for Bristol Rovers last season, playing with Aaron Collins up top there. So I think they were some good shouts in the chat. Right, should we go on to predictions then? So our player to watch, Tommy Conway, maybe off the bench, but hopefully we'll see him scoring plenty of goals this season. Right, everybody ready? It's predictions time. Right, don't stitch me up in the comments, you lot. We'll go through our 12 games. We'll bat between myself and Sam for predictions. If you can really help me out by putting your comment for your prediction for the game we're talking about at the time, that really helps me get them up on the screen. And if you can also write down the team names so I don't just see an indiscriminate, sound like a school teacher, don't I, giving everybody the rules, Sam, indiscriminate load of numbers on the screen. So let's flip to the, now how can I make this so I don't have to do Ipswich? Sam, Ben. Right, Sam, you're going first, which means I miss Ipswich, which is always fun. Friday night, get your predictions in the chat. Birmingham City versus West Brom, Sam.
Oh man, I'm going off the cuff here. This is it. I had a little look just before we came on, but I'm going off the cuff here. Normally I scribble down. John Eustace just makes them so hard to play against. I think this is going to be turgid.
Under 1.5 goals, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be stodgy. It's going to be turgid. It may be a couple of goals from set pieces. Let's go 1-1. We always go heavy on the 1-1, so I'm getting my 1-1 in lively. Right. What someone put in the chat? What is this derby?
Don't call it a derby. They get really don't call it a derby.
What is this local matchup defined as? So it's I don't want to say it.
No, don't. They get really cross on that.
Well, time where is Newcastle Sunderland, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you could have weird teas, but no, they don't want it. They don't want it to be a derby.
They don't want it. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Right, Sunderland Middlesbrough anyway, mate. Go.
This is comment of the day. Look. I've just realised that's Sam bloody Parkin. Always put a good shift in for the Town. You've been watching the whole time with you. You've got Sam Parkin written in that, but there you go. So, Sam, the complete opposite to what you just said. This is both teams to score all day long, isn't it? Sunderland versus Middlesbrough. I wonder if Middlesbrough will be slightly too open. So, I'll edge on Sunderland and a huge high scorer. No, let's be sensible. Sunderland 2, Middlesbrough 1. And what are you saying, Sam, about Cardiff versus Watford?
I think that's really difficult, isn't it? We're going to speak maybe a little bit more about one of these teams in a short while. Cardiff.
Good spoiler avoidance there, Sam.
Cardiff are what? 3 wins from 4? Yeah, lost
4 wins from 5.
4 wins from 5. Good grief.
In fact, they were 5 wins from 6 before that, so they're 5 from 7, which is excellent.
I mean, this literally could be anything. Watford went to Stoke and lost, didn't they, early part of the season? I'm going to go for a Cardiff win. I'm going to go nothing would surprise me here. I will go Cardiff to win 2-1. What about the original 90s Premier League matchup? Why do I keep saying matchup between Coventry City and Norwich City? That is the most 90s game ever, right?
Well, what about this, Sam, is that I've backed Coventry for ages, backed off them the last couple of weeks, and they've won 2 in a row. So from what I'm hearing from the Norwich fans, they feel a little bit blunt without Barnes and Sargent. And perhaps fair. Rowe and Sarah are carrying them a little bit. What I know about Coventry, Sam, now is it's one of those runs where they were drawing loads of games. So all of a sudden, if you win a couple, we're saying 1 defeat in 9 as opposed to 1 win in 9, etc. So I'm going to back Coventry to win with a clean sheet. So I will go 1-0 to Coventry and happily pass over Ipswich Town versus Preston, Sam, to you.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go for Ipswich to round off the week from, it's not a week from hell, is it? But it's the blindingly hard set of fixtures that Preston have had to navigate.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Ipswich. I'm going to go for Brazil 1970. Sorry, Ipswich Town.
I love
to
that.
win this one. I'll give Preston a goal. I like their 11. And it's as good a squad as I can remember there, but ain't going to be no match for this Ipswich team, are they? I'll go 3-1 Ipswich. Leeds against Bristol City, man.
Could be really tight, couldn't it? I know we've just bigged up Tommy Conway, but Leeds are going to get a more open opponent than they got against QPR. So I expect we're going to get more than the one goal. I do think Bristol City will score. So I think I'm in 2-1 Leeds territory for this one, Sam. Do you know what? Maybe Bristol City would take the lead in this, and Leeds might have to kind of pillory the door down, if that's mixing two metaphors terribly. Sam, the Leicester City 95-point juggernaut, Leicester versus Stoke. What do you reckon?
It's been all of a week that I've not seen Leicester in the flesh. I wanted to chip in there on the.
They've won another load of games since you saw them.
Yeah, I can see similarities maybe to. I mean, they scored late against Preston, didn't they? I think, or they got 3 in the second half, didn't they? I see similarities to the Bristol City game here. I don't think Stoke can try and go head to head, make this an open, expansive affair. I'll go Leicester to win it 2-1.
Dewsbury Hall.
I mean, he went missing, didn't he, for a few weeks? So much so that when I was doing some of my prep for a couple of the games I did back to back, people were questioning whether those 2 number 8s, him, Ndidi in particular, were going to be good enough to do the jobs for Maresca, because they're roles that are so pivotal in his setup. And Dewsbury Hall came on, I think, that night at Southampton and at Norwich, but he was brilliant in both those games. His impact, and then he's got 3 in the last 2 in the home games, in the subsequent games. So he's a player, absolutely great player, great vision, get your goals. Yeah, no problem about him at all. Millwall against Hull City.
Rowett did I stole one of your lines from my column. He did your classic desperately needs a win, goes and gets a win down at Plymouth. Hull obviously came up second best against Ipswich. I might go down the middle on this one. I think Hull will have a nice lot of possession and make a few chances and score, but I also think Millwall will score. So I'm going to go 1-1, Sam. And I'm very happy to hand over this one. It's a difficult one to call with Plymouth's home record and Swansea's good form. Plymouth versus Swansea, Sam, and you might have to take yourself off mute if you want to tell us what you think.
Sorry, mate. I'll lose my mic there for a minute.
You have lost your mic. I think you're on the computer mic at the moment. So I will say, keep your predictions coming in via the chat, as I think Sam plugs himself back in, and we're going to hear from him on Plymouth versus Swansea very imminently. Hope you're enjoying the show. Please
Hello,
do
Ben.
We've lost you. We're getting you through the computer, so just continue on that, Sam, and then when I'm talking on the next one, try and switch the mic back in. Plymouth Swansea.
Hello.
Yeah, just go through that and change it in a minute, yeah? Plymouth Swansea, Sam, can you hear me? Huge apology. You just lost Sam's mic for a second. I think he's trying to reconnect it. Now, Sam, we can hear you. If you can hear me, we can continue. It's just slightly worse quality. But I don't know whether he can hear me, which would be somewhat of a disaster. And we have completely lost Sam now. So I will carry on through Plymouth versus Swansea. As I suggested, I'm pretty well down the middle on this one. Plymouth very good at home, very good ruthless finishes, etc. Swansea in good form. I don't know whether the winning streak continue. So I will land on let's go for a Desmond, which is a fun one. We will move on, get your thoughts in on QPR versus Blackburn. That was our mouth-watering matchup. It's going to be pretty dirgy, we would imagine. I wonder, have we got Sam back? Let's see. Can you hear me, Sam?
I can hear you. Have you got me?
We've got you. Yeah, continue. You've got QPR Blackburn. We've switched over a little bit.
Right. Sorry, I think you're coming out of my computer, but I will.
That's fine. Just go with it.
QPR Blackburn.
Yeah.
This is going to be very, very tense at Loftus Road. I can't see Blackburn not scoring the way that they've been going toe-to-toe with teams. I will go for a 2-1 away victory. Sorry, Gareth. Sorry, my brother. Sorry, everyone. It's horrendous, but that's what's going to happen. Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield in that circus act.
Well, the funniest thing possible would be for Sheffield Wednesday to get a win now, wouldn't it? So should we just throw in Darren Moore not going back to Hillsborough and getting the win, even though we probably all think that's what's going to happen. Let's just throw this one out there for complete, you-know-whats and giggles. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Huddersfield 0, and a first win of the season for the Owls, which takes us to, and Rotherham are not good away, and Southampton are in form. Southampton versus Rotherham, Sam.
Yeah, we're not going to focus in on the Saints too much today, but given that I was there for the victory over Leeds, I will just say that I thought that was pretty brave of Russell Martin to change the shape, quite alarmingly so as well, in that victory over Leeds, playing Alcaraz as the furthest forward attacker, kind of split strikers or wingers, and Alcaraz as a false
got
nine.
An Argentina call up as well.
He did, yeah. I didn't think he was amazing in the game. He was a little bit on the periphery, actually. But just, again, when we've spoken about a team not having that out-and-out forward, it does tend to mean that the centre-halves get dragged out of position, bit confused, who am I picking up? And the pass is behind for the wingers. The split strikers, Sulemana and Armstrong, in essence, got that victory over Leeds. The few chances they had, they're just incredibly clinical. So I thought it must be so easy for a manager to trust your philosophy, your players, your plan, and just keep going with it. So to do something quite drastic, I thought, took bravery. So, and he was getting it, wasn't he? I mean, if they hadn't scored early against Leeds, if they hadn't have won that game, who knows how we'd be talking now. So, yeah, I thought that was a big call. Who are they playing? Rotherham. Sorry, Matt. 3-1. 3-1 Saints.
I can't disagree with you. There you go. Those are our predictions. Thank you for bearing with us with a few ghosts in the machine, as the police would have said. And funnily enough, the next segment is our meltdown moment. And let us know if you want to vote for Sam's headset in the comments. We always love having a meltdown moment each and every week, Sam. Something. It's not Pat Bamford, by the way, so you can talk about that in the Q&A. Who have we gone for our meltdown moment of the week?
Normally, I've got to explain it and soften it, and we'll be doing that in a minute. But it's the old Hornets, innit? Watford.
It is Watford, and it's not necessarily them melting down, although it might be them melting down. They certainly had Twitter melting down with that club statement tweet where the whole world thought they'd sack Big Val Ismail, but they hadn't, Sam. They'd offered him a new contract. What's going on? This is the exact opposite behaviour we'd normally expect from Watford. They are currently, if I bring the table up, not in good nick. They've lost 3 in a row, as you will see, and are one place above relegation underneath the point per game survival metric we all love to use. But Big Val has got a new contract. Explain this meltdown to me, Sam.
Yeah. Are we in unison? Are we convinced that the Watford admin Twitter guys had a little bit of fun?
I think he had a lot of. Well, he got me hook, line, and sinker. So
I'm thinking, are you not on thin ice if you make little gags if you're part of the Watford staff? Do you know what I mean?
Can't poke fun at the owner, can you? Surely.
Well,
But yeah, I think it did send everyone a little bit wild, didn't they? We would have envisaged that would have been the old corner flag coming in there in the next
yeah.
week. It's unusual. Listen, I think it's important to have balance, because I think if we go back a month, I think certainly on the opening day for 45 minutes, but I think there has been glimmers of light amongst some of the performances. It's obviously completely different football to what we anticipated showing up at Vicarage Road. I don't know, are the players not up to speed? Are they not good enough to execute it? Was that the surprise element that done for QPR on the opening day? And then since then, people have actually recognised that they can set up to counteract what Watford are trying to do. I don't love the squad. I don't love the forward options. And we're talking about a centre forward that's been signed for £1 million in Rajovic, and Bayo, I think, was close
Bayo
to
was
£5 million.
way more. Yeah.
I know the aforementioned Rajovic has got a couple of goals, but I don't love them. I think there's shots of recovery maybe from Martins, the midfield player. I think Aspria's had some promising displays over.
Loser is quality. He's been brilliant every time I've seen him play. Yeah,
he seems to be coming in for a little bit of grief at the moment. I think the midfield is a little bit open, and Cyril Alta's been playing in the midfield position, which is a bit of a surprise. Two centre backs are struggling, so maybe he'll go back in there. Kiambe's a player I've seen spoken about a lot that can do that anchoring role in the midfield. Livermore on the bench the other day, obviously a trusted lieutenant of Valérien Ismaël as well. So I think there's problems throughout the units there. And I mean, ultimately, I've said this before, I think it still works. How successful can a club be when there's so much instability off the pitch? If the structure's not correct, how much do these players want to be there and to create something over a period of time, which looks likely to not happen this season? How many are going to want to stick around and be on this journey if it is going to be a, God forbid I'm going to say it, a longer term project? I mean, that's how it was sold under Rob Edwards, wasn't it? And in essence, I don't think that was particularly truthful. Now we're seeing the manager, is he the right manager to be handed the keys? I've seriously questioned that.
I've got a comment and a question. My comment is, I don't have a problem, because what they have done well, Watford, to be fair, is they've recruited kind of exotically from, far-flung places and players we've never heard of, and actually got some really good ones and sold on well. I don't have an issue with that being the model in terms of they might not hang around long if they are a Sarr or a João Pedro or insert another who they've sold on. My question to you, Sam, is: do you think this was actually the plan of in you come, and we're going to give you a 1-year contract, and we're going to look at you for 3 months, and then we're going to go long term with you and offer you a new contract? Although that in and of itself is short term, isn't it? But long term for Watford as well. Do you think that might have been the plan all along?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's really peculiar because the results shouldn't have dictated that this happened, right?
That's okay. Yeah, that's a fair point.
So I'm not really too sure why this has happened. Again, it's, we thought we all knew what we were getting with Valérien Ismaël coming into Watford, and I think the recruitment, it didn't suggest that was definitely going to be the way he went. But when Livermore was signed and some other players in the summer, I'm thinking, how are they going to fit into that high intensity, high line, that team who on an hour the board used to go up and substitute all 3 forwards because they were run themselves into the ground? Well, this is very different, I think. And maybe it's teething problems. Maybe the squad isn't good enough. Again, I look through every unit of the team and I'd question them. And when they came up from the Championship previously, I thought, my take on it, really good defensively, especially at home. I thought Bachmann was there, and Ngaki was there, Siriolta was there. They probably had Truce Ekong, did they?
Truce Ekong, yeah.
Yeah. couple of other defensive players. You thought they were going to keep clean sheets, and then you thought they were going to be bailed out if they were ever in trouble by a João Pedro or a Sarr or a Dennis. I think was maybe there for a few games. I could go on. Deeney in one of those promotion seasons. So I don't see that anymore. No. I just see a bit of a mixed mash of players that at the moment, I wouldn't go as far to say they're stinking the gaff out, but I mean, it's been a pretty desperate run. And I think the last win was over Birmingham, wasn't it? And I think a lot of Birmingham supporters actually came away from that game quite optimistic.
I remember that, yeah.
So it wasn't convincing against them. Yeah. So is it 4 now without a win? And obviously their position in the league is pretty desperate.
Yes, 4 without a win and 3 straight defeats. So, yeah, Watford confusing us with their new contract for Big Val is our meltdown moment. And everybody, sharpen your pencils, sharpen your brain, because it's quiz time. Here comes the week that was. A lovely bit every week. But did I get it back to 5-2 or 5-3? I think I got it back to 5-3. So we get a question from our lovely mate Fev at Fev's Football. Fev's Football Analytics. Type any of those into Twitter and give him a follow. Give him abuse for stitching us up every single week. Sam, would you like to ask or be asked first this week?
I'm just loving it this week. It's tremendous. So I'm just going to reel off what I've got in front of me for you, if that's all right.
Let's do it.
I just honestly, when it come through today, I was looking after both my boys today. One was having a kit. The other one was making copious amounts of noise, watching some kind of cartoons when I was trying to do some notes. So I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Just gave me a
Fin, Gigantosaurus.
Holly and something.
Oh, Ben and Holly, classic.
Ben and Holly,
yeah. Just ding, 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 ding.
Doesn't look particularly good to me, but he seems happy with it.
You wanted to get him on Sopranos soon, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right, here we go. He wants me to ask second.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
There you go. Oh, sorry, you go first. I didn't read that. Okay, sorry. Right, you're gonna be asked first. Last week, Sam said 90s goal scorer was much more up his street. So let's find out. In the 90s, 4 of the current 24 championship teams won the championship outright. Ipswich in 1990-91, Borough in 94-95, and Sunderland twice in 95-96 and 98-99. I'll read them again for you in a minute because you're going to need them.
Yeah.
Who were their respective top scorers in the league only that season? So okay. I'll work you backwards because the first one's really easy. Sunderland 98-99.
Hang on. Sunderland 98-99.
Top scorer.
Yeah, okay.
Who is
Kevin
it?
Phillips.
Kevin Phillips, of course it is. You can have a point for that.
Okay.
Sunderland 95-96, much harder.
Sunderland 95-96. Can I come back to that?
Yep. Middlesbrough, I think one of these goals is an absolute worldie as well. Middlesbrough 94-95.
Middlesbrough 94-95.
Could play him on the wing as well.
No, go to the last one.
The last one is Ipswich under John Lyall in 1990-91.
1991 at Ipswich. A bit later.
And he went on to play for the club I support, went on to play for the club you support as well.
Yeah, I've got him. Chris Kiwamia.
Okay, Chris Kiwamia. Good, you got 2.
That's good going. Right. I'll go. So Sunderland 95-96.
Sunderland 95-96.
I will go in. It's got to be in it. I played with him. He'd have left by then. I have to go. I think it was earlier. I'll go Gabbiadini.
It's not Gabbiadini. It was Craig Russell.
Yeah, I know the name. Left footer, I think. I wouldn't have got it.
Middlesbrough, 94-95.
Middlesbrough, 94-95. So this is, 3 years? No, this is about a year before the
BT Cellnet Riverside
Revolution, right?
Yeah.
So they got promoted?
Yeah.
Oh, Did you say you could play wide as well?
Yes. Don't look at the comments.
No, I'm not looking at the comments. Oh, so I mean that's Merson's team, right?
No,
So,
no, that's 2 years later after they've gone up and come down.
Gives a clue then.
Scotsman.
Scotsman for Borough.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to get it. Craig
John Hendry.
John Hendry, course.
Someone did put it in the chat here. Let me just give them a shout. There you go, Beza. He got it. Lots of people got them. What did you get, Sam? You got 2 out of 4, so I've got a chance here.
I'll take that. I mean, I'm never getting Craig Russell.
No, I wouldn't have got. In fact, I probably would have only got the same 2 you got, I reckon.
Bit more time, I might have got Hendry. Bit more time.
Yeah. Right, I'm just closing the comments down. If I look down here, I'm writing stuff down. Yeah, I'm not cheating. Right,
same
go
vibe,
ahead, Sam.
mate. Exactly the same vibe, but your noughties, all right?
Okay.
So in the noughties,
these are champions, are they?
Yeah. So from 2000, 2001 to 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
4 of the current 24 championship teams won the championship outright.
Yep.
Norwich in 03-04. Sunderland in 04-05. Sunderland again 06-07. And West Brom in 07-08. Who were their respective top scorers in the league only that season?
Are you going to blink?
Do you want to go back in time or do you want to start with the earliest?
No, because I think the last one might be Kevin Phillips again for West Brom in 2008.
Yeah, 2-1 behind.
Right. Now, the 2 Sunderlands is where I'm going to get mixed up. Was Darren Huckabee Norwich in 2003, 2004?
Correct. 2 each.
Man.
Give me one Sunderland name. But you have to do with the corresponding season, or you're getting niche from me, my friend.
My favourite player of all time is Marcus Stewart.
What year would you suggest?
And I would say 04, 05.
04, 05?
Yeah.
That's enough to...
Oh, so 05, 06.
For the full house. Someone that I work with quite a lot. You probably hear him quite a lot.
06. Sorry, this is 06, 07.
This is 06, 07.
Oh, hang on. So it's Roy Keane, yeah?
It's Roy Keane. You're on the right lines there. Look deeper into that line of questioning.
Nah.
That line
give me a clue.
Well, go on. Played with him for internationally.
Keane. Oh, yeah. Daryl Murphy?
It's good, but it's not right. You're back in
play. He wouldn't have top scored, would he? No. Who was it, Sam?
David Connolly.
David Connolly. Oh, he is good actually on the summarising, isn't he?
There you go.
There you go. Wonderful. So I'm back to 5-4 now. Fantastic news. And big up Fev as ever. And we will go to Q&A time. So get your questions in and we'll do another 5 minutes or so of Q&A. Anything you want to talk about, go. By the way, guys, 91 likes. Surely there's 9 people who are watching who haven't hit like yet and get us up to 100 likes. Any questions? Get them in the chat. I'll wait for a few to come in. Sam, do you want to talk quickly about Bamford and Begovic? What was your take on that?
I hate these things because there's a still doing the rounds, isn't there? Where it looks.
I'll never judge a still. Never judge it by a still. Right. Yeah.
Has he got previous for this?
Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah. So against Aston Villa, he actually got a retrospective ban. Some Leeds fan will tell me in the chat. I was at the game. I can't remember. I think it was it El Ghazi shoved him or didn't shove him after the goal that shouldn't have been scored that Bielsa let them then score. There was a red card. And I remember Bamford was banned from the first playoff game. Someone's going to correct all this, but what was your take anyway?
I saw it in the comments earlier. I know the commentary's doing the rounds, isn't it, from the QPR?
So good. I retweeted it this morning.
He's quite a close confidant of mine, I would say. Well, he's certainly my eyes and ears at QPR, Nick. So don't be too hard on him. He's a good guy.
Accidental partridge is a compliment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know he wears his heart on his sleeve. It's Andy Sinton. If you didn't know that, that's who he's got with him. So the start of that, the start of that's Andy Sinton. He does every game.
Andy Sinton's doing the rounds, trying to decapitate David Beckham on that Netflix documentary at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I remember the tackle. Yeah,
remember that tackle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bamford.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, he ain't going to get in that team. I'll put that out there. Like, everyone was waxing lyrical about him being back last week at Southampton, blah, blah, blah. He ain't getting in front of those two. And they were off it, by the way, at St Mary's, I thought. But, yeah, I struggled to see him getting too much game time. And he's going to take a while to get back up to speed. Anyway, what was the question? Did he dive? Yeah, he went over too easy, didn't he? He's anticipating the collision, and he probably and goes over. I don't want to answer it now because I'll be a meme by tomorrow morning.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Right, let's bang through some of these nice and quick. Sam, what have we got here? What will be the biggest change we see after the next international break? Answer that how you see fit. Either a player coming out and scoring loads of goals or whatever, or a team moving right down the table, or a team maybe Preston going to drop out of the top three?
I just feel like I just contradict myself every week on this show. Like
that's allowed.
I've been quite heavy on them, aren't I? Right, what are we going to see after the international break? I'll tell you what we're going to see. And I'm not thought too intently about this, considering I've just been asked. Borough are going to be on the march, my friend. Yeah. And you know what? I heard a little bit of stick being directed at the new lad, Latte Lap. And
great goal he scored midweek.
He fell over the other night just before he notched, but my goodness, it was an accomplished finish. I think he's been okay.
Yeah.
New league, relatively young player. He's got himself a couple of goals. One was at the Hawthorns, one a good header. Finished that beautifully the other night. It's a big ask coming straight over and being stuck in having to play every minute when you haven't necessarily had a proper pre-season. So, listen, I'm not saying he's going to... Well, there you go. He's going to start scoring with regularity. There you go.
Okay.
And Middlesbrough are going to be on the march. They're going to be in the top half. I'm not saying it's going to be...
they better do, because I predict them to finish second before they sold all
I
the players.
I think we all made a bit of a balls up there, if I'm being honest. But I fancy him. I liked his demeanour, Michael Carrick, amongst all those defeats. I liked the way he came out fighting. He was asked a few times whether he worried about his job, and he kept it together and said, like, it's far too early. So I think he's got the back in there, and they'll be fine.
Let me bang out a couple, because I know Sam won't want to answer that. Will QPR sack Gaz if they lose against Blackburn, Mark? I don't think so, but look at that November international break. I think if they're going to move him on, it would be then rather than this one. And I had a definitive answer. Someone was asking about keepers. Oh, damn it. Where is that? Sorry, there's a question about keepers. Oh, there you go. Which keepers impressed you most so far? I can confidently answer this from my Ipswich point of view. Vasquez from Sheffield Wednesday was brilliant against Ipswich. So that's the best goalkeeper performance I've seen so far this season. Maybe it's the best thing Sheffield Wednesday have done. Jim, any memories of Sixfields in 2001 for Sam?
I'll tell you who did impress me the night I saw him was the Leicester goalkeeper. I know he gave one away the other day, didn't he, playing out? And I mentioned Palmer, didn't I, early on? I was really high on him a few seasons ago. So good to hear that he's back producing. So I'd probably name those two. Sixfields 2001. Yeah, it was a hard year for me. It was my first year away from home, really, playing regularly. And I saw him relatively recently, well, maybe last season at some point, or a couple of seasons ago. Kevin Broadhurst was my manager. Initially, it was Kevin Wilson. Kevin Broadhurst, I think, did 2 stints at Sixfield. And he was particularly hard on me. But something that always stuck in my memory. And at that time, it was really needed because I didn't really perform well early part of the season. I was on loan from Chelsea. It was big expectancy, and I didn't do particularly well.
What league were they in, Sam?
League One. Third division as it would have been at the time. Second half of the season, I knuckled down, scored a few goals. I think until recently, I was the last Sixfield winning goal scorer against Peterborough. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's their derby. And we survived from relegation. They went down the following season with a pitiful total, if memory serves me right. So I was always quite cock-a-hoop about that. My team were able to stay up. But yeah, on reflection, it's hard. and there were probably a few tears that year because I was only 19, but it helped me grow up actually. And I said to Kevin Broadhouse when I saw him at a game, like, thanks for that, because I didn't always respond brilliantly to criticism, but he gave me a kick up the backside and I actually responded. So it was probably much needed.
Nice. Last one, West Yorkshire game. With Leeds getting yet another clean sheet, can this be the basis for Leeds to start pushing for the top 2? Can I just add a wrinkle to that, Sam? The Leeds clean sheets will be not due to great defending. They'll be due to them having the ball so much. And so I tend to think that the clean sheets are a byproduct of them controlling games and possession as opposed to defending beautifully. Whereas I think the key is obviously their ability to slice teams open. As you've seen, so many of their goals already now have been quick transition. Even that one the other night, get it, win it, left-hand side, straight across. And they've got real quality with their finishing as well, Leeds, haven't they, in those penalty box sort of moments. What's your take?
Sorry, the comments have been gold tonight. Ron Atkinson down to QPR.
There he is.
I'm all over that. Get on the
big Ron, early doors, eyebrows, lollipop.
Manager, whatever on YouTube. Yeah, do you remember it when he went in at Posh? The documentary. It's gold. Get on that. I often find myself watching that late at night, just absolutely cracking up to myself. What was the question? Leeds. I've got the lineup up for Wednesday here. Well, I think it does. Some of it is down to personnel, isn't it? Because they kept a clean sheet last night with Rodon back in. I think there was a lot of question marks as to why he didn't play at Southampton. And also Luke Ayling. I don't know if the form's been incredibly consistent this year, but I'm not convinced Shackleton's a fullback. And listen, this is probably a tactic. They are so free in the forward areas, and the early part of the season was brilliant rotation. They're going to excite so many. They don't get really any output. This is my take from Southampton from the fullbacks. Hardly got over the halfway line. So you're going to get a bit more from Luke Ayling.
God, do you remember Aarons and Lewis for Farker at Norwich? They absolutely bossed it, didn't they? God.
Yeah. I mean, Byram, I think, is obviously a really good professional, and Farker trusts him. Do you know what I mean? He's done really well. I think he's been one of their best players this season. But I think Rodon's a game changer for them. So I think he will tighten them up. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out, because that was just, my take watching them. They were really flimsy defensively. Southampton had 3 or 4 chances and scored 3. Alcaraz missed another header, but he didn't get really any attacking impetus from the fullbacks at all. So that's something to keep an eye on. It might just be, right, keep Fourier, keep Ampadu, go and play. It's going to be good fun, whatever it is.
One word answer, Sam. I just thought of this while you've been talking.
We're going to do the Greg's order.
You can do that in a minute. Of the 4 players, the Bielsa boys of Cooper, Ayling, Dallas, and Bamford, give me a number. One word answer. How many end the season in the starting 11?
Dallas, Bamford. Who was the other 2?
Ayling and Cooper.
Ayling, Cooper.
I'm just hinting that none of them might be in the team by the end of the season.
One of them.
One of them, yeah, it's probably a safe bet, isn't it?
Right. The best utility player in the world, is he not? He'll be in.
Oh, God, yeah. And he's just coming back from injury, isn't he? Right, so do your Greg's order and then we're done, Sam. What are you going for?
I'm not a Greg's punter. Come on, what kind of filth is that? Question. I'm probably in for the old, when there's a service station, little 3.50, 4 quid hot drink and a bacon sarnie or whatever. But
nice, yeah.
Sausage roll, probably. I do you my McDonald's order, because that is high.
I find it hard not to buy 2 sausage rolls from Greg's.
late night McDonald's, mate. That is my weakness at the moment.
On the A11, yeah.
Way back from Norwich, didn't I? I said on the pod the other week. So I had one of the double quarter. I'd always go beef of some variety and then chicken of some variety. So I went double quarter pounder with cheese meal and the 6 nugget chaser, and that is pretty well standard across my McDonald's career.
I did the Burger King when I was really late the other night, and I just went for the most expensive meal. I could buy the biggest, most expensive thing with the onion rings, and you need to move around after you've eaten that. You can't just sit.
I've got a mate who swears by the old vegan slice or whatever it is. From, he's a veggie from Greg's. Swears, like when we're having a heavy day out somewhere and everyone's got the munchies or whatever. He's
yeah.
like holidays as well, airports. He's loading up on that. He swears by it. Is it something in beans, maybe? Don't know. Anyway.
There you go. Right, guys, thank you all so much for joining us here on the Championship Check-In podcast. If you're listening on the audio show, we thank you. We would invite you to come and join us live each and every Thursday, dependent on scheduling. But we intend to be here mainly on a Thursday. Last word from you, Sam?
Sorry about my headphones, basically. But we've had a good run of it, haven't we? The audio's coming on my computer now, so I hope you've been able to hear me. And I hope my face wasn't too off-putting as I panicked there.
Yeah, well, I had some issues a couple of weeks ago, so yeah, I think it's very much 1-1, isn't it? But thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again for Karma post 3-game week international break podcast. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the likes and the comments in YouTube. Thank you for downloading and the 5-star reviews on Spotify and iTunes. We'll see you next week.